The universe doesn't need your control. It needs your trust. That sentence might seem simple, but it holds one of the deepest truths about conscious manifestation. Today, I want to guide you through a journey of vibrational understanding, where you'll realize that your constant desire to control everything you observe, control signs, outcomes, responses, behaviors, might be exactly what's blocking what you most want to manifest. Many believe they need to be constantly watching, alert to every sign, making sure everything is moving in the right direction. But that urge to control, no matter how understandable, is what prevents the universe from acting freely. It's like staring at a seed in desperation, hoping it will grow faster just because you're watching. The more you force, the more you delay. So I ask you, are you truly creating, or are you becoming a vibrational obstacle to what you desire? In this video, you'll understand what it means to observe with trust, not with tension. You'll see how the quantum field responds to your surrender, not your fear. And when that shift clicks inside you, something changes, because the universe has always been ready to act. It was just waiting for you to get out of the way. The control of observation, a survival mode. The urge to control what you observe isn't a flaw of the ego, nor is it a personality defect. It's actually a natural response from a survival system that has learned to associate safety with control. From an early age, we're conditioned to believe that if we're not watching everything, every sign, every reaction from people, every movement in the world, something might go wrong. This constant vigilance becomes an automatic mechanism, a way to protect ourselves from pain, loss, or disappointment. What many don't realize is that this attitude of constant control, although well-intentioned, completely shuts down the field of creation. Because the universe doesn't respond to effort, it responds to frequency. And the frequency of control is, in truth, fear disguised as responsibility. When you try to control what you observe, you're saying, even unconsciously, I don't trust the flow. I don't trust timing. I don't trust that I'm supported by something greater than me. This kind of observation is born from tension. You watch, hoping something will happen. You're on the lookout for a sign that confirms what you want is on its way. And with every lack of response, anxiety grows. The mind starts to doubt, to question, to push, and that's when the field shuts down. Because where there's tension, there's no space. And where there's no space, the universe cannot move freely. Control is always an attempt to stay one step ahead of life, to anticipate reality in hopes of avoiding the unexpected. But the truth is, all anticipation is a form of resistance to the present. You're not living in the now, you're trying to shape it based on the fear of what might go wrong. And that internal state creates a dense vibration that keeps manifestation in limbo. The energy of control is subtle, yet powerful. It doesn't scream, but constantly whispers that something might slip through your fingers. And that quiet belief that you need to be on constant watch to make sure things happen is exactly what delays what you want. Because manifestation isn't a game of precision, it's a game of trust. And when the mind tries to replace trust with control, the universe pulls back. What's curious is that control gives the illusion of power. The feeling of being in charge feels safe, but that safety is fragile because it depends on variables you can't manipulate. It depends on other people's behavior, on the world's responses, on signs showing up or not. And living like that means living in constant vigilance, a state that drains the soul. Observing with control is not the same as observing with presence. In control, there is fear. In presence, there is surrender. In control, there is rigidity. In presence, there is space for the new. And it's that space the universe needs in order to surprise you. You must understand that the true creator doesn't monitor every moment. They trust the planting. They sow with intention, but they don't dig up the seed to see if it's sprouting. They know there's an invisible time when roots are forming, and that time is sacred. Manifestation happens in the space of surrender. There's a common illusion along the manifestation journey. The belief that the more effort you put in, the more you think, analyze, visualize, and try to control every detail, the faster your desire will come true. But the universe doesn't respond to the intensity of your effort. It responds to the clarity of your vibration. And that vibration doesn't arise from tension, pressure, or constant vigilance. It emerges from the inner space you create when you are in complete trust. Surrender is not passivity. Surrender is an energetic field of allowance. It's the moment when, without saying a word, you declare your belief in the intelligence of creation. It's when you loosen your grip on life and allow it to move with flow, even if you can't yet see the results. And it's precisely in that space where manifestation begins to take form, in the unseen, in the silence, in the space between desire and fulfillment. You can ask with clear intention, make affirmations, visualize vividly. But if, after all that, you're still trying to control every step of the process, questioning, pressuring, doubting, then there is no surrender. There is tension, and tension closes the field. Manifestation needs space, it needs lightness, it needs a vibrational environment where it can express itself freely, and that environment cannot be consumed by anxiety. There's a phrase that perfectly sums up this truth. You ask with intention, but you only receive when you let go. And that letting go happens within. It's a vibrational choice. It's not giving up on what you want. It's stopping the need to force the timing, the methods, the paths. It's understanding that your part was already done the moment you wished clearly and felt it truthfully. From there, it's the universe that takes the lead. And the universe doesn't fail. It doesn't arrive late. It only waits for you to release control so it can act. Because while your mind is busy trying to force a path, the flow of creation gets blocked. Life then respects your free will. If you want to handle everything yourself, it waits. But if you let go, it steps in. Surrender opens invisible portals. It activates intuition. It aligns your frequency with what already exists as possibility in the quantum field. When you let go, you begin to notice subtle signs that something is shifting, even though you didn't put in any extra effort. Connections arrive, answers appear, time organizes itself, and everything flows. But that only happens when you release the anxiety of needing to control the details. How to know if you're observing with control? It's not always easy to recognize when we're observing with control. At first glance, it might just seem like attention, care, or even focus on the manifestation. But in truth, there's a very clear vibrational difference between observing with presence and observing with control. One comes from trust, the other from insecurity. Observing with control means living in constant search of external confirmation to feel internal relief. It's when you ask the universe for something, and instead of releasing and trusting, you begin to obsessively search for signs, analyze every response with a magnifying glass, compare your results to others, doubt if you're doing it right, feel rushed, urgent, anxious. Your energetic field enters a state of surveillance, and in that state, there's no room for natural flow. Control disguises itself as attention, but beneath it, there's tension. It's like a constant need to validate whether your desire is getting closer, as if the universe had to prove it's listening. With every silence, doubt grows. With every seeming delay, fear creeps in. You're not just observing, you're trying to measure, push, and control the magic. When you observe with control, your body feels it. There's a subtle restlessness, a sense that something is always missing. You feel like you need to act all the time, or that you need an immediate sign to confirm you're on the right track. And if that sign doesn't come, it feels like something is wrong with you, with the universe, or with the process. That's the effect of vibrational control. It creates resistance, blocks the field, and over time leads to frustration. This kind of observation also triggers comparison. You start looking around and seeing others' results as threats. You think you're behind, that you should be further along, that maybe something's missing in your practice. That feeling doesn't come from presence. It comes from the insecurity that control quietly nurtures. And the more you feed it, the further away what you want seems to be. Another common trap of those who observe with control is confusing synchronicities with validations. The person becomes so dependent on receiving signs that they turn every coincidence into a test. If I see this number, it means it will work. If they reply today, it means the universe is aligning. This relationship with the unseen becomes rooted in pressure, not in faith. You begin to condition your inner peace to whatever the outside world shows you. And within that pattern, manifestation never completes, because it depends on a vibration of certainty, not constant verification. Observing with control is like planting a seed and digging up the soil every day to check if it's growing. It's the rush that interrupts the process. It's the doubt that suffocates the miracle. What you want may be just one step away from manifesting, but your energy field is still sending out signals of anxiety. And the universe, out of compassion, waits for you to enter the state of trust, because only in that state are you truly ready to receive. The good news is that once you become aware of this pattern, you can break it. Not through effort, but through choice. You can begin to observe with more neutrality, more ease, more inner space. You can notice when you're tense, take a breath, and remember that the universe is working behind the scenes, and that even without immediate signs, something is always aligning. What happens when you release control of observation? There's a moment in the manifestation process that is quiet, almost invisible, but deeply powerful. It's the moment you let go. Not as someone who gives up, but as someone who finally understands. Understands that it's not effort, anxiety, or constant vigilance that makes things happen. It's alignment. It's the space you offer for the universe to act on your behalf. And when that space opens up, everything changes. When you release control of observation, the first shift doesn't happen outside. It happens within. It's as if your body breathes deeper, as if your heart stops chasing and returns to its natural rhythm. Anxiety dissolves, the urgency fades, and in place of tension, a new vibration arises: trust. A calm trust that doesn't need proof or instant confirmation. It simply knows. This internal state of surrender creates an energetic opening, a clear field where reality can finally flow freely. You stop sending mixed signals. You stop bouncing between "this will work" and "what if it doesn't?" And in this new field, the universe can finally act, not because it didn't want to before, but because now you've allowed it to. Letting go of control is recognizing that there's an intelligence greater than the mind, an intelligence that sees what you cannot yet see, paths you didn't know existed. When you align with that awareness, your vibration shifts frequencies, and that shift does not go unnoticed. The quantum field responds immediately. That's when synchronicities begin to appear, not as attempts to validate, but as natural confirmations that everything is falling into place. You start noticing little coincidences that feel too aligned to be random. People reappear, opportunities show up, situations resolve with ease. And even if it's not the final manifestation yet, you feel that something has moved, and that feeling is unmistakable. Because when you let go, your vibration becomes compatible with what you want. And that compatibility is what truly attracts. It's not surface-level positive thinking, nor the exhausting effort to do everything just right. It's the coherent vibration of someone who knows their desire has already begun to take form. And that coherence only arises when you stop trying to control. The mind may resist this process. It's been trained to believe that without vigilance, things go wrong. But the spirit knows control has never been true power. Real power is born from harmony with the unseen, from trust in what cannot yet be seen, but can already be felt. And it's in that space where the magic happens. Not because you forced it, but because you stepped aside. You stopped interfering, you stopped panicking. And by doing so, you became a clearer channel for the universe to do what only it knows how to do: manifest through the subtle order of the whole. The phrase that captures this movement is simple, yet profoundly wise. Magic happens the moment you stop trying to control the magic. Because magic, by definition, cannot be controlled. It just happens. It flows. It surprises. And your role is to be open enough to notice and receive. Technique: how to observe with trust, not control. Observing with trust is a state of consciousness. It's a way of looking at your reality and your desires without being trapped by the absence of results. Above all, it's an energetic practice. And like any practice, it can be cultivated, refined, gradually integrated until it becomes natural. Most people observe with tension because they've learned to equate observing with monitoring. They believe that by constantly watching what's happening, they can somehow control the outcome. But this vigilance is a form of resistance. It's a way of protecting oneself from uncertainty, when in truth, uncertainty is an essential part of the creative path. Observing with trust begins when you shift the quality of your presence. It's not about stopping yourself from looking at what you desire, but about looking without pressure. It's when you can keep your intention alive without clinging to it out of fear. It's like placing a flower in water. You admire it, nourish it, but you don't hold it too tightly. You simply contemplate. To access this state, the key is feeling. Feel as if what you desire is already flowing toward you. Even if it hasn't arrived yet, embody the vibration of someone who knows it's already on the way. That feeling creates coherence, and coherence creates resonance with the quantum field. In that alignment, the universe understands you are ready. At this point, it's important to understand that trust doesn't require guarantees. It requires attunement. Vibrational trust doesn't need everything to be visible to know it's working. It rests in a silent, almost sacred certainty. And that certainty is cultivated daily, through subtle, internal choices. You can, for example, begin your day anchored in quiet affirmations. They don't need to be repeated desperately or said aloud. They only need to be felt as truth. A simple "it is done" or "I trust the timing and wisdom of the universe" can, when truly felt, open vast vibrational spaces. These words act as energetic seals. They seal your intention in the field without the need for demand. When you observe your desire, aim to feel lightness. If you notice anxiety rising, don't fight it. Just breathe. Bring your attention back to the present moment. Look at your desire as you would a beautiful landscape, not trying to grasp it, not fearing its loss. That neutrality is powerful because it dissolves attachment, and where there is no attachment, there is flow. A simple practice can help. Visualize what you want as a light in front of you. Watch this light without urgency, without strain. Feel that it's already alive in the field, already moving toward you. With each inhale, feel it drawing closer. With each exhale, release any need to control the how or the when. Just be there, with presence, with faith. This way of observing changes everything, because it repositions you energetically. You stop being someone who begs and become someone who allows. You stop looking for signs that the universe heard you and become the sign that everything is already being taken care of. Observing with trust is a spiritual act. It's a choice to vibrate certainty without demanding proof. And the more you commit to this practice, the more it becomes your new way of being. You don't stop desiring, you don't stop dreaming, but you stop trying to control every detail. And that is freedom. Surrender is not passivity, it's spiritual power. One of the greatest misconceptions about surrender is associating it with passivity, as if letting go of control meant crossing your arms and waiting for the universe to do everything for you. But true surrender has nothing to do with inaction. At its core, it is a refined spiritual power, silent, invisible to the eyes, but immense in its vibrational impact. Surrender is not the absence of action, it's the absence of tension. You still take action, but now it no longer comes from fear, from urgency, or from a need to fix everything around you. It comes from inspiration, from intuition, from that inner impulse that rises at the right time and guides you with clarity. When you're in surrender, there's no more noise, no more anxiety driving your decisions. There's a subtle listening to life, and it's that listening that shows you when to act and when to simply hold the field with trust. To surrender to the flow of life is not to give up on your desires. It's to trust that there's an intelligence greater than you, operating beyond what your mind can grasp. It's recognizing that no matter how hard you try, Some things only fall into place when you step aside and allow the universe to act through you. And that takes strength. It takes faith. It takes courage to rest in the unseen and allow creation to unfold in its time, not the time of your impatience. Control is loud, surrender is subtle, but it is in that subtlety that true spiritual power is revealed, because when you let go, you enter a state of non-resistance. And this state is not apathy, it's openness, it's presence, it's energetic purity. You are no longer interfering with doubt, nor trying to manipulate the outcome. You are holding a vibration of certainty, even if everything on the outside still appears quiet. And in that silence, you hear the call. Not the mind's call, which demands urgency, but the spirit's call, which guides with wisdom. Because surrender does not paralyze you, it aligns you. And when you are aligned, every step you take is precise. Every word carries purpose. Every movement has direction. Surrender is active in the invisible realm. It moves forces the eyes cannot see, but the heart can feel. It's like opening a clearing within, where the energy of the universe can descend and reorganize all that once felt confusing. It's trusting that the wave knows where to take you. And instead of fighting it, you allow yourself to float, guided by something far greater than your original plan. There comes a moment when you realize effort no longer has a place, not because you gave up, but because you became one with what you desire. There's no longer separation between you and what you want. You've become the receptive field, and that only happens when control dissolves. The phrase that defines this state is clear. You act when you're called, and the universe calls you in the silence of surrender. That is the true rhythm of co-creation. You don't need to chase after it, nor fight to prove you're ready. When your vibration aligns with what you desire, the universe finds you, and it finds you because you finally stop running from stillness. Surrender is an ancient wisdom the soul remembers, but the modern mind has forgotten. It's time to relearn how to trust without guarantees, to hold on to faith without immediate results, to embrace silence without fearing you're wasting time. Because in the silence of surrender, everything is already being prepared. And when the right moment comes, and it always comes, the universe won't just deliver what you want, it will deliver what you are ready to receive. We've reached the end of our journey, and maybe now you realize that it was never about controlling, forcing, or understanding every detail. It was always about trusting that the universe responds not to your demands, but to your frequency, that it doesn't move by the urgency of your mind, but by the silent surrender of your soul. Control creates resistance, trust creates space, and it is in that space that manifestation happens. So here's a vibrational challenge. For the next 24 hours, simply observe with faith, no tension, no pressure, trust, let go, wait with lightness, and see what happens. Remember, the universe doesn't respond to control, it responds to trust. Letting go of control isn't giving up. It's stepping aside so the universe can step in.